we go. Yes, you're recording. I mean, you are homeschooling, Julie. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, so we have one homeschooler. Okay. Hold on. I can't see. Okay. Here we go. Resume, share here. Also, I can't see. Here we go. I can't see. Okay. Oh, Joanna, my boy is 3, so not necessarily, but I teach him as much as I can. So how many of you are homeschoolers but are working at the same time? Yes, okay. How many people I work from home? Okay. How many people are curious about homeschooling but feel that they can't while they're working? Or how many people are currently not working and homeschooling? I work from home. That's you 100% that you're curious, but you're not. But you feel like you can't. Okay. So in the chat, can you describe, yeah, there we go. You already answered it. In the chat, can you write words that describe how you currently feel about homeschooling and working at the same time? Just a couple words. Responsibility, sense of responsibility. And I guess you already answered it, that you're scared of failing. That, which is very common for mostly people that are just starting. It's very common to feel that way. All right, so what I'm going to say is that a lot of people that are looking to homeschooling and working, they get again the sense of like nervousness of like it has to look a certain way. They think it has to be like this 8 to 3 schedule, like bringing the traditional type of schooling into the home. And the truth is that you don't have to do that because homeschooling is really how you make it work for your schedule, your home style, your life, however that is. And also another thing you should know is that as someone that has been in the classroom before, in public, private, we don't really teach the whole 8 to 3 time. Like we maybe teach 2 to 3 hours and the rest is just fillers. Like depending on the grade, if they're little ones, there's nap, there's transitions, there's outside time, all that stuff. And then they also have the older ones have extracurricular activities. So there really isn't that much learning time if you really think about it. And um, truthfully, you can create it however you want for your family to work it out. So first of all, the first thing is just to take away that thought of how it should look like, and also um, just give yourself the grace and the freedom to understand that this could be however you want it to be. It doesn't have to look a certain way. So the first step is the biggest step for me is you have to understand where your child is. You have to meet where your child is at. So the best way to do that is by observing them. I encourage you. A lot of people might feel that they already know their child, and some people might feel that, they're in the school all day. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know where they're at. The best way to start is to just literally let them do an activity or be outside in a play environment and not intervene, not do anything. Just sit and watch and observe. Maybe take some notes, maybe take some audio notes if you want, or written notes, and see what anything that you might observe. So you can see anything from like if they're more independent or they need structure. Do they like a more conductive and focused environment? Do they need that, or do they work better in like not high stress, but like with a lot of things happening at the same time? Once you have that type of knowledge or like some type of observation about what your child could look like, we can go to the next step, which is, do you see any type of concerns? Now, when people think concerns, they think red flags. My kid is, I don't want to say these words, but this is what people have told me that they're like, that their kid is bad or they have learning disabilities or like they can't do X, Y, and Z. We want to take that away. Like, every kid is different, right? Every kid has their strengths and their weaknesses, just like us as adults as well. if we do early intervention, if we do suspect that there is something, some type of disability, it's great to do early intervention. The faster we start, the better it is for them. Not only is it better for you, but it's better for them because if there's holes, if there's gaps, and we can bring in support, I have seen a transition in the child and for the family as well that can benefit everybody. So you don't want to just say like, oh, I don't want to put them in the system or have something in file. If there really is something there, we should really look into it and really take the actions. So these are the steps that you should do if you do see some red flags. The first, as I said already, is observe. The next is you should consult with your doctor and share all these concerns that you have, all these observations that you have. They will then give you a referral to then go get evaluated. And in the evaluation, then they will find whatever they find, and then they'll give you a report. And after they give you the report, then you can call your insurance and see what you are eligible for, so that then you can get some help. And the good thing about it is probably not pay or pay not all of it, some of it. The insurance pays for it. So that's what's cool about that. So the next thing is one of them that we call is the RBT. There's many types of different aid that we get, but the most common and the most beneficial would be the RBT, with the Registered Behavioral Technician. Their main goal and their what they focus on is behavioral. So anything around routines, transitions, communication, like how they behave around other children, how to communicate. In a traditional setting, they go to the schools and they help the child in their environment in the school. But in homeschooling, even non-homeschooling, some of these RBTs, the kid goes to school and then they come after school. But in homeschooling, they can come from 3 to 5 hours sometimes to support your child. Now, currently, what I do for a living is I go to homes. I'm a mobile homeschooling tutor, pretty much. I go to the homes, and if there is an RBT there, I work with RBT as if they were the parent. The parent is involved sometimes, and sometimes they're not. I'll give you different scenarios. I have parents that the dad is present because depending on the RBT and the way your program is, everybody's different, but depending on yours, there's some that the parent has to be involved in the sense of like you have to be at the home while the RBT is there. So work from home basically. Or some do not. That's very rare. The most common is that there has to be one adult at the home while the RBT is there. By the way, I have a dog, and if he starts barking, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I apologize for that. Um, Anyways, what I was saying was that the RBT is there to help you as a aid. They're not the teacher, but they can be an additional to the academics. So let me again go back to an example of what I have. I have one family, the daughter has an RBT. She goes there from 9 a.m. to 11:45, and the mom works outside the house part-time, and the dad stays in the home, and then he works at night. When the mom comes back, the RBT leaves. Okay, so that's how she works around with the homeschooling. I work with the RBT. I give her the steps on how to do all the academics, but um she uses her knowledge and her experience around the RBT curriculum with the curriculum that I provided. I hope that makes sense. If you don't need an RBT, there's other ones like oops, I went too much. Hold on. Okay, yes, there's other RBTs like the occupational therapist. Also, early steps are really great for younger children, and then ADP support. I'm not going to go into detail on all these. If this is something that you see, like if your child has a disability, then you're going to go for the ADP. If you have a young child, then you're going to look into early steps. I highly recommend you do your own research and find out more about it. But basically, there's a ton of resources out there that people can come in and take care of the hours that you need so that you can go give that support for your job. Okay, so what if your kid is I don't like to say normal. That's not a word I like to use. I like to use neurotypical. Neurotypical just means that you don't have a disability. So what happens if you don't qualify for that? How can I, how, nobody's going to come in and take hours away so that I can go to work. There's many ways. You just got to create your own support system. Some of them are micro schooling. Some of them are community swaps and pods. Some of them are online classes and tutors and flexible childcare programs. I'm gonna talk about these and more. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. So all right, so the first one that I like to use is use what you like or what you enjoy teaching or even what you feel more confident in. Maybe you don't like it, but you feel more confident in it, and then outsource the rest. So if you're a parent that you feel like I'm really good at art, I love art, or I'm really good in math, that's my strength, but I have no clue how to teach reading, then outsource it. There's different ways to outsource it. We're going to talk about that today, but just know that you don't have to do the ones that you don't like. You can outsource it. Okay, this is probably my favorite type of resource to use. So the power of community swaps. What this looks like is that you can research, you can go to places where, or you maybe already have these people in your life where you can find moms that are in your same thought process, same style, right? And you take turns to do the homeschooling. So an example, I'm just going to give you an example. Like there's an A mom, there's a B mom, and a C mom. A mom loves to garden and she loves to um cook. That's her passion. She's really that makes her happy. She likes to do that. So on Monday, mom gets all 5 kids. Let's just hypothetically say there's 5 kids, gets all 5 kids and she does these activities with them while the other two moms works, does whatever she needs to do around homeschooling, I mean, about working. The mom B likes to do math and engineering. That's her thing. So she does engineering and math on Tuesdays, and the other two, do the same thing that mom A did and mom B and C did on their days. And the same thing, mom C, maybe she likes literature and acting, and that's what she does. It doesn't have to be only academics. It could be whatever you guys choose to be again. That's the beauty about homeschooling. It's choice and there's options. But the cool thing about that is that you know the people, your kids are together, and then you really do have like 4 or 5 days to work, depending on who you pick. Maybe some people are going to do twice a day, maybe some people are going to do half a day. Again, you choose your community. But at least right there, you have more days to work with while your child is in a safe environment with people that you know and that are aligned with you at the same time. Okay. All right, the hybrid. So I did not mention, I forgot to mention, I know that some people registered here or when I talk about this, I'm going to be focusing mostly in Florida because that's where I'm located. But whatever I share, I'm sure you can use the same format and just use it into where you're located. Because I know there were some people from like California and like Chicago and all that stuff. So whatever I say, just take it in and use it for your own location. South Florida is booming with homeschooling. It's like one of the top homeschooling states in the nation. We have the homeschooling centers dedicated for spaces like for enrichment. We have tutoring centers, enrichment programs like art, music, and we have micro schools. So, you can use this type of support as well, the hybrid model, where you just take them for a couple of hours for these activities, and then you can go to work as well. Okay. Then there's these daycares. Now, obviously, daycares is more for younger children, but I want to reach out to all different age groups. Okay. Um, these type of childcare, you can do part-time, you can drop them off, and they also have flexible type of options where you don't it's not like you have to drop them off every day at the same like from 8 a.m. to 3. You have a choice, but you do have to communicate with them and be honest, like what are you looking for, like what type of support do you need from these schools? Do you want to, these are the type of questions. I'm gonna go back to that. So the type of questions you should ask is, do you do drop-off care? You know, meaning like, can I just drop them off whenever I want? Do you need a yearly commitment? If you need a yearly commitment, it might not work for you because you don't know what your schedule is going to look like. Or can you choose specific days? I'm going to go back to the other one because I don't know if I can. How do I go? Oh, there we go. These are the different types of flex cares. So in Florida, we have this one called Le Petit Academy Child Time. They are known, they're a chain and they're known for dropping off whenever you want or having like flexible hours. Also, the other one is Kids Park. My assistant should be putting these websites so you can personally go look at it as you want. Please don't go look at it right now because then you're going to get away from the presentation. But just know that I also will be sending these links to you as well, so you don't have to be looking at for yourself as well. Okay. Then there's obviously the community morning. You know, there's the YMCA and the JCCs. They offer a lot programs where the kid can go do activities like art, yoga, all these awesome activities, then you can go to work. And if you're religious, a lot of these church groups have these programs just like the community one, where you can drop them off, they do these activities, and then you go to work. Okay. Why? Okay. Okay, so what about your like Lissette, this all sounds great, but I'm on a budget. Like one of the reasons why I even considered homeschooling is because yes, childcare is expensive and I don't want to have to basically work to then put my kid in childcare, right? So you're looking to homeschooling because it's free in a sense. There's a lot of low cost strategies, okay? We're going to talk about these low cost strategies and how you can make it work based on your budget. Okay, so first of all, there's a lot of online programs. One of the ones that I highly recommend, and there's a lot more, but these are the top, is Academic Power, which is Khan Academy and CK12. They're free. They have a lot of lessons there. They're world class. They're very well known, and it's not just Florida. They're well known all over the United States. Obviously, the public library is free. They have a ton of resources, ton of activities there that you can use. And then we have the FLVS Flex. This is for Florida, okay? So if you're not Florida, you can skip over this, but it's free part-time online courses for Florida students to supplement home learning. Um, as well as, I don't know if they're posting the link because I can't see the chat right now, but either way, again, I'll be sending you the links so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, here we go. All right. So online homeschooling. So typically people would consider online homeschooling more for like older children, but they do have as young as K. If you're someone that doesn't really like your kid to be online all the time, um, I understand, but if you're like, I want to work and have my kid be doing something like educational, this would be your style. So I have my notes here and I'm sorry I can't look at both. I'm going to share with you all my notes about each individual type of school because it's a lot of information. Okay. So the first ones are, hold on. Okay, here we go. Achilles. So Achilles is a private accredited online K through 12 known for their power homeschooling vision. Their model is really known for being self-paced. They are video-based, and the teacher explains the concept in a video, but then the child answers it. If they get them wrong, the system reteaches it the concept. So it's not like, okay, you did it, you got it wrong, move on, like traditional education. Like if you don't get it, too bad, so sad, we got to move forward. They do reteach it if you don't get it, which I like about that. It's also not, it's self-paced, so you don't have to be involved as much as other programs. Then the next one is time for learning. This one is a set it, forget it type style where you just set the type of academics that you want, the curriculum that you want, and you let the kid do it and they do it independently. Okay. It's a comprehensive curriculum service rather than a traditional school. And it is K through 12, pre-K to 12, sorry. The parent remains the teacher of record. So what that means is that there's no live classes and the child can typically go in whenever they want. So like if they wanted to do math at 7 a.m., they can. If they wanted to do science at 7 p.m., they can. So it fits to your schedule. And it's also what's most known for is that it automatically tracks the time spent on each lesson, the grades, the quizzes, and it maintains a detailed grade book for them. The other one that's really great is OutSchool. Um, it is not a full school time, but it markets for live small group classes. So I like that one because it is live. It's not just videos anymore. There is a person that they talk to. You can find a 1 hour class at almost at any time that you want. So if like let's say you have a meeting at 2 p.m., you look up whatever live class is going on at 2 p.m. and then you let them be part of it. It is ultimately the tool for outsourcing. If you're again, if you're working, I already said that. So sorry. Okay, so then Florida virtual school. This was from Florida. This one's for Florida residents. Um, this is like like a typical public school, but online. If you're gonna choose this one, okay, if you're gonna choose it, I highly recommend you choose the flex one because they do have the typical hours that you go like from 8 to 3, like online. I don't like that one because, if you don't show up, you don't get credit for that class. But if you choose the flex, it's the same as the other ones where if you sign in and you do the work in your own pace in your own time. It's also free. So that's what's cool about that. K through 12 Stride is also a full public schools, and they're the most well-known and largest national providers for all over the United States. So they have a reputation. So that's good because you know that if they have a good reputation, that means that mo most people have benefited from it. They also have state certified teachers, and they're also live lessons. Um, it's popular because it takes the guesswork out of homeschool. It manages all the record keeping, the testing, the curriculum, and it's more structured for a school at home model. The Laurel Springs is for older ones. It's more for like college prep, but a lot of people that use this are like athletes, like people that are like involved in a lot of high-end sports or they're acting or like they're well known, they're like popular. Um and it is not private. So it is sorry, it's private, it's not public, meaning that it does cost money. Um so most people that are like in that culture use this style of homeschooling. And then my favorite, because it's more my style, is Oak and Meadow because they are known for flexibility and high academic standards. Um, sorry, that's the Laurel Springs one. I'm so sorry. It focuses on more creative, nature-based, and child-centered approach, similar to the Montessori method. And it's ideal for parents who want an online school that doesn't feel tech heavy. That's why I like it. It involves a lot of hands-on projects, reading, and artistic expressions. So this one does involve more, and but I like it because it's my style. But again, that's my style. If the other ones fit your style and your culture and what you're looking for, look into it. But here's kind of like an example and a shortcut of each one. Okay, so on the chat, I want to hear on a scale of 1 to 5, and 1 being terrified and 5 being like, I'm super confident. How comfortable do you feel asking your boss for a schedule change? Just drop that number on the chat. I see, here's a chat. A 4 in terrified and 2. So 4, like 5 is terrified. No, 1 being terrified. I'm sorry, you're right. 1 being terrified and 5 is confident. 9. Got it. Okay. All right. So, I'm not gonna ask you. to quit your job, okay, or like at all. But I understand you have to understand that if this is important to you, there are some uncomfortable things that you're gonna have to do if this is important to you. And obviously you're here, so if you're here, you're really, really interested and curious in having homeschooling be part of your life. So you may need to have that conversation with your boss to ask like, okay, can I have maybe a remote job or hybrid? Can I have more flexible hours where instead of, I don't know what your schedule is, but if it's a 9 to 5, maybe you can come a little later and then do the morning schedule with them and then use your resources that I said earlier. Or opposite, you start earlier and leave earlier so that you can be with them. And then ship shifting. So one of the guests might talk about this here today. Ship shifting is basically like you and your partner. One does the morning shift with the learning while the other partner works, and then you switch. At some point, the other partner takes over while the other partner works at night. So if there's a way that you can work around that, it's not ideal, it's not the most, it may not be the best scenario for you, but it might be what works for you to start for the homeschooling. Okay. So yeah, I kind of said this already. One parent handles academics during the day, while the other one swaps and does the evening. Okay, so we're gonna do this activity right now. Okay, this one's the one that you write in your journal, in your notebook, or something like that. Okay, we're gonna take 3 minutes for a working parent audit. So I want you to identify 3 hours in your workday that you're a must. You must focus. Yeah, it's meetings heavy. You're reporting. Like those are your 3 hours that it's non-negotiable. You have to work. So write those hours down. After you write those hours down, you're gonna do the high focus learning blocks. Identify 2 hours when the child is most on. Usually it's in the morning. That's when the kids are most active. So you're gonna write those hours down. And then the bridge, circle where those overlap. This is where you need to apply one of the supports we discussed, like a RBT, a co-op, online school, or a parent swap. So I'm going to give you just a couple, like 2 minutes just to do that. And if you want, you can share, but not necessary. Okay. And I see some people still writing. Okay. You got those out? You got that? Okay. So you can use that as a guide. And also, one thing I want to say is that you did this right now, and that could be like your starting point to try to like navigate what you're going to do. Again, this isn't like set in stone. You can always revisit and look, this didn't work. Let me try something else. You can always change it to fit your schedule or whatever you need. Okay, the next. Okay, so a lot of my clients that are like, hey, I want to do this, but I can't find a work from home job. Like I just can't find it. I've been applying, I just can't find it. There's a lot of jobs out there that do training for you to get these high paying jobs. I'm not kidding when I say this, and I'm not saying this just to make you like want to do it, but some of them pay like $100,000 a year. And they're flexible because they're online. So um, I highly encourage you. I'm going to send you these links. They're called course careers. These are the type of jobs that you can get online, but they're called course careers, um, which is they teach you how to get these certifications to get these high paying jobs that are online. And then there's also Google certificates. Um, they're just training. They do cost money, but you have to put some skin in the game in order to get the result that you want. I mean, obviously there's like these low paying jobs that you can get that are work from home, which is not a problem. You can also get those. But if you're looking like to really outsource and get the income that you want to support your family and do this, then I highly recommend that you get the course careers. I have a link that you get a discount if you use it, and also Google careers. Sorry, there's a bug there. Okay. Then the other option is maybe you're passionate about something and you're like, man, I've always wanted to do this, but I don't think I can, or like I just, no one's gonna like it. I mean, maybe this is your chance to do it. Like maybe you can do that passion. Maybe, you're into baking or like you love organizing or cleaning or whatever. You can use that to make it as your income. So I had a client that she really loved organizing, and she can do it during the weekday. Her husband worked during the weekday, and she did homeschooling. And in the weekend, she would do the organization. She would go to homes and start organizing people's homes. And she's like, I wish I would have done this a long time ago. Because not only is she happy because she's doing what she loves and she's making money for it, but then she can also stay at home. And it's not every weekend. She does it like every so often. You again, you get to choose your schedule, but she made that income with that, and she also hired people to take care of other clients while she can work from home with her kids. Okay, this is just an option. Okay, I got this out of a client that I work with. She gets paid to take care of her elderly mom as a nurse. So I'm not saying that this can happen for you. But if this is something that's in your life, like you have an elderly mom or dad or a grandma, grandpa, or someone that's elderly, and you don't want them living in a facility or anything like that, they can live with you. You could get trained, and then you can get paid as their nurse. So you're home with them, and then you can do the homeschooling while you take care of the elderly person. This is the name of it. If that is you, look it up and apply so that you can have that in your life. Because I have one client that does that and she doesn't work at all and she gets paid to do this. Okay. Now, I get surprised. I feel like everybody knows, if you're in Florida, you know what step up is. But I've had a couple of parents that don't know what step up is. If you don't know what step up is, it's a scholarship that you get. Not everybody gets the same amount, but if you apply and you get accepted, you get a certain amount of money to then use it towards anything you want in academics. It could be anything from jujitsu to curriculums to a tutor. 80% of my clients use Step Up to pay me. So, I mean, yes, this is a huge resource for like people that are looking for money um, support around homeschooling, and I highly recommend it if you don't know how to use it. I mean, if you've never heard it before, please look into using it. I think since I'm not a parent, I don't know how it works 100%. I think another parent here, one of the guests, can maybe answer that question. I think the deadline already finished for this year, but you can also use it for next year if you want. Another thing I know is that your kid has to be older than 5 unless they have a specific disability. Then I think they'd let you for earlier, but typically it's 5 and up, just in case. Okay, so now I'm gonna have the opportunity. One of my guests didn't make it, and that's okay. I'll share her story. But she might pop up later. And she can share her story. I would like to welcome Julie. I'm gonna take myself off and let her be the one. I'm also gonna put you as the pin. There we go. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Thank you for being
Thank you
here
so much for
today.
having me here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so why don't you share a little bit about like who you are, what you're doing, and because I already know you homeschool and you work. So maybe share a little bit about your kids. Are they neurotypical or do they have a disability?
Yeah, I have one child who is pretty neurotypical, and then I have another child who's has needed a little bit more support. So that
Okay,
has
but
been
you don't have any specialists that come in like an RBT.
no,
Okay.
not to that extent though.
Okay, so how do you you don't have that support, which is exactly why I wanted you to come in. So you don't have that support. How do you do it? How do you homeschool and work at the same time?
Yeah. Um, Honestly, to tell you a little bit about my story about how I got where I
Mhm.
am right now, is that I got to a point where I was like, I really want to work, but I don't see how I can work and homeschool at the same time. So for me, that was just like not an option. And I started looking into like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to stop homeschooling, put my kids in school so that I can work. And I started, talking to people that I knew, applying, but like nothing ever came through around that time. So then I know of a mom who owns a homeschooling business where she teaches other moms how to homeschool, basically. And I was like, you know what? Let me just reach out to her and see if, she needs help or if this is something that maybe I can work with her. And she got to me back like right away and she's like, yes, I'm actually looking for someone. This is like perfect timing. I was like, oh my gosh, great. And she was like, my hours would be very flexible because she homeschools herself. And so it just worked out that because she is a homeschool mom as well, she was okay with me homeschooling and figuring out the schedule. So because of that, I was like, great. So I don't have to put my kids in school. I can just continue to homeschool and then work. And the way that we arranged our hours is that because she's in California, then and they're, later, then I was able to homeschool my kids in the morning and then closer to the evenings, then I start working and that's when I have my meetings. And so it kind of worked out perfectly that I could do both, homeschool in the morning and then in the evenings I start work.
Yeah.
That's how I was
Oh,
able to balance it.
so like what I hear is that you were nervous about asking her. You were like, there's no way this, and I know who you're talking about, that she's a very, very well-known Montessori homeschooling coach, is what I would call her. And you're like, there's no way this person's gonna say yes to me. But you took the chance, and that's kind of like where I was trying to go to with the boss. You just never know. You never know what people are gonna say. Maybe they are open to it, maybe they're not. Maybe this is a sign for you to look at another career that aligns with what is important to you, like homeschooling. Um, and then don't you also, so then one of my questions, and I guess that's where I was trying to get at too, is that so you do the method of swapping, right? Where you're in the daytime with your kids, homeschooling, and then your husband takes over in the nighttime or after late afternoon,
Yeah.
nighttime, right? Is that what you would call it?
I was able to do that for a little bit, but now not so much. I'm pretty much on all day. My husband gets home a little bit late, but what has happened and the reason why this was able to work is because my kids are a little bit older. They're 10 and 8. So they know, okay, like dinner and then mommy has to work. I'm not available anymore. I have meetings, I have work. I need you guys to put yourself to bed,
Yeah.
basically. You can read, you can spend time doing quiet time or whatever, but this is time for me to work and this is time for you guys to be
But when they
getting
were
ready for bed.
younger, you were doing the swap. When they weren't
Yeah,
maybe as old as they are now. Um, okay, so and then that brings another thing that it doesn't always have to stay the same. Like it shifts
yeah.
according to your lifestyle or like whatever's going on. As you said, they're a little older now, so sure, now maybe they can take care of themselves. Um, okay, I think that that is pretty much you answered a lot of questions. Don't leave yet because I have some of my own questions to ask. Hold on. Share. Nope. Technology. Here we go. Here we go. Can you see the screen? I can't. Wait. This isn't it. Hold on. I have to bring back the original. There we go. Okay. and then slideshow, but wait. Here we go. Okay, so my other client that I have, I think I kind of mentioned with her, she has a Down syndrome daughter, and she has an RBT that comes. I said this already in the beginning. She has a daughter that has Down syndrome. Her RBT comes from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. The mom works part-time in insurance and stuff like that. So sometimes she works from home, sometimes she works in the office. So if the husband he's a DJ and he also does like catering and stuff like that. So obviously his schedule's more like weekends and nights and evenings. So the husband is at the house while the RBT is there. But the few times that maybe he has an appointment or something, the mom can work from home as well. So it just so happens that her job allows it too. So that's how she does it. Okay. Hold on. My questions are, okay, what made you believe that this was possible, that you could work from home and do homeschooling at the same time, Julie?
I think I think the fact that I was able to find something that was flexible was like, okay, maybe I can continue to homeschool and work at the same time.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning I was pretty set on like there's just no way. Homeschooling is a lot and being with kids all day is a lot. How am I going to add on this responsibility of working, but then being able to find a person who was understanding of my situation, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I can make this work.
And let's add another concept. I personally know Julie, so I know this about her. She does use the Montessori method, and so her style of homeschooling is active. And I know that I shared a lot of homeschooling stuff that you don't need to be as active. Again, if this is something that you feel like you want to do, you can look at both a hybrid, like a little bit of homeschooling with Montessori with the online. I know that you do use some online resources to supplement,
Mhm.
even though you're very hands-on, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Like for
Mhm.
what subject areas do you use it for?
Yeah, mostly language, like anything that has to do with reading and writing. That's something that, like I said, I've just needed extra help. So that's
Mhm.
something that I do have a tutor who works with my kids as well. Yeah.
Okay. What was the hardest part at first at starting the home, like both? Yeah.
I think that in the beginning I felt very like excited, and so therefore there was like, oh, everything's okay. I think that a year in was when I was like, man, like the responsibility is a lot, like having to deal with both. You do get tired. So I think that that was the first thing that I think that we all get very excited that we like made this work or this is, exciting. And then through time, it's like consistently being like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I need to figure something out. I need to change how I'm doing things so that I can continue to make this work.
Yeah. And then what support made the biggest difference?
Um, I mean, I do get a lot of support from family. Not that they like right now, for example, I have this meeting and then I have my kids with my in-laws. So being able to have like that support for them like once in a while so that I am able to do things like this is important.
Let's be clear too, though, but at one point you didn't have that support, right? Because you lived up north.
No.
So
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
see both sides, how to have with the support and without the support,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm.
So even then, even now, like I feel like having a really consistent schedule for both my kids, like a consistent rhythm, like this is what we do every day. In the morning, we wake up,
Yes.
we do the thing, and then we do the activities. And then as soon as I get home and you have dinner, I have to start working. And the more consistent that I was with that routine, the easier it became for my
Yeah.
family to understand
I
how
get
this
that
was going to
some
work.
people can't, their lifestyle isn't very structured, but that is key because then they already know without you having to like, come on or whatever. Like they already know, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. Their subconscious is very safe and feels what's gonna come next and they don't question it. So I love that support that you just said. Okay. So now I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I'm creating and what I'm doing. Right now, I'm creating a small co-op home learning center in Plantation. So this is for my plantation up North Florida people. I can talk more about that in a one-on-one setting if you're interested in it. But it is ages 3 to 12, and we do everything. We do thematic, project-based style. So we do things from like financial literacy to STEM to cultural and history. It's academics with project based. And then at some point after the group, it does turn into a one-on-one homeschooling. So we have a hybrid version of social slash small group, and then we also have that one-on-one. We also do have the mobile tutoring and homeschooling that we go to your house, which is the support that if you're interested in, that we said you outsource, we can do that as well. So I'm just saying that as my services, and if you're interested, I will personally post the link and also send you how you can get more information to get this as well. So what we're most known for is planning, curriculum, and intentionality. Why? Because I am a huge advocate for independent learning. I don't believe that every kid I don't even like grade levels. I think that that is made up. I understand the need for it to like see where my kid is at, but at the end of the day, I've had kids that are like in first grade and then they're like at a fifth grade level in math, but then they can't even write a sentence. So I don't like seeing grade levels. So how I do it is we create individualized curriculums based on an evaluation that we personally do that isn't like a standardized test. It's through observation and through questions and through games, and through that we observe them, we write our notes, and then we use that as a guideline to create your individualized curriculum. We do that in the class, in the small group, and in the one-on-one. Um, you're fit for us if you want to work with us, you're in the mindset of like, this is a community. You're not for us if you're like, I want to drop off my kid and that's it. I mean, yes, you can drop off your kid, but we're very big advocate for not just a whole child, but whole family. What I mean by that is that one of the biggest things I saw in the classroom is that we would do the work. When I say the work, I do obviously I mean academics, but I mean the emotional, social work that takes to get the child to understand things and get to know who they are and their passions and stuff like that. That takes a lot of work, right? But then what happens is that we would give them back home. When I was in the classroom, we would give them back to their child, to their parents, and it truthfully it would go out the window. It's like they would switch to another child, because they know that when they're home, or when they're with their family or their parents, this does no longer matter the way that we worked in the classroom. So I'm a huge advocate for parent training. And if you do join this type of community, it's not mandatory, but it is part of the curriculum. So that's what I'm saying. If you're someone that's not like wanting to do the work, not wanting to learn and understand your child and be part of the academics while also figuring it out for yourself, like learning for you, who you are for your child, then you're not the right family for me. And that's okay. There are others. I'm just saying you're not going to work with me. Okay, how does it work? First, you would apply and I'll send the application. I don't accept everybody. Again, if you're not aligned with our values, how we are, it's okay. We're just not going to work well together. So I need to know your mindset and where you're at. We review it. Then we discuss a meet and greet, either virtually or in person. And then if it works out, if we're both like, yes, we like this, then we register. We are looking, and I can't guarantee it because the construction hasn't officially started, but the people that are constructing it, because of permits and stuff like that, are saying by August, I will have a center. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about that. Okay. So just as an ending note, I know homeschooling while working is possible. It's not because of one solution works for everyone, but because you can build a system that fits your child, your budget, and your network. Now, I understand if you guys don't want to ask questions, no pressure, but if you guys do have questions, you're more than welcome to ask now. If not, I'm super grateful for everybody that joined in and was able to hear. And I hope that it was valuable to you and then you got something out of it. So now I'm going to open up the room for anybody to share anything or have questions. Okay, if not, that's fine. No problem. You want to say something, Julie?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for your new venture.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for sharing your story and how you can have this happen in your house and your life. And you can also reach out to Julie. You want to put your at so people can find you. Yes, I'll send the links now as soon as we're done with the when I hang up the chat. Thank you so much. I'll also put your information as well in the email, okay, Julie? So people can reach out to you. Thank you. Bye. Have a good night.